from Flux. Welcome back to another weekly update. I'm so excited because fall has finally arrived. I am back in my fall schedule. Everything's getting crisp out. The leaves are changing, so I'm super excited because, as you know, this is knitting and crochet season. So we're all just ready with our yarn and our hooks and our needles. So the first thing I wanted to share with you today is so many of you have been asking me for beginner patterns for both knitting and crochet. So a lot of you are crocheters that frequent the Flux blog and YouTube channel, but you're kind of interested in knitting. So a lot of you have been commenting about showing some beginning knitting patterns. So I decided to, over the course of the next few weeks, and I've already have a few that I've done already and shared, is to have some beginning crochet patterns and some beginning knitting patterns. Now, a few weeks ago, I shared the crochet cowl for the absolute beginner, and I'll share this link below as well. It's a full written pattern and a video tutorial for that. I use self-striping yarn and very, very easy stitches for that as well, and it makes a really nice cowl that's easy. And for those of you who are seasoned crocheters, this is also a wonderful, really fast pattern as well, and it makes a perfect gift. For a cowl, you don't really need to size it so much, so it's great because you don't need certain sizes and measurements and counting and things like that. For the knitters, or those of you aspiring to knit, there is a beginner knitting cowl as well. And I use self-striping yarn, those popular cake yarns I used for both of these. And this is also very simple stitches, easy to work up. We're just using the knit stitch and we're even making it flat and seaming it. So it's very, very simple. So check out that video. It just came out yesterday and I'll put the links for both of these projects down below. Now in my Yarny travels, I purchased a yarn called Mandala. Now, if any of you have ever used this yarn, now as you can see, I've kind of used half of it because I'm working on a little project. So here's a little sneak peek of that project. But in my yarn shopping adventures this week, I got some of this Mandala yarn from Lion Brand Yarn. So stay tuned for the Yarn 101 for that, and it's been a really fun yarn to work with. I'm loving the colors, and as you work more and more rows, it just presents another layer of color and another layer of color, so it's been really fun to work with. So stay tuned for that and a project with that probably towards the end of this week. Speaking of things that are coming soon, I am working on doing a review for this weaving loom from the Plaid Company. I've partnered up with Red Heart Yarn. So this weaving loom and this ryotie, I'm going to have an unboxing and a short video tutorial and project with that as well. I have always wanted to check out weaving looms. I've kind of poked around the store at them and see what I'd like to do, but there's some pretty examples here. So stay tuned for that. That's coming soon. Each week, I love to share something from the Flux archives that's perfect for the season. So with fall at our doorstep this week, there are so many things to pick from because fall is just my favorite season. So obviously there's a lot of Flux patterns for that. So I picked two things. I couldn't narrow it down. The first thing I wanted to show you is called the Autumn Glow Fingerless Mitts. So these are actually some little mitts that you can wear. They have a thumb hole and a really nice textured stitch. And I've put a little leaf button at the bottom, and you can get a set of these and you can size them accordingly. There's some instructions for that. There's a full video tutorial as well as the written pattern for that. And these are made with some really pretty yellow yarn, perfect for fall. So check those out. The other thing I wanted to show you is this tote bag. This is called the Nature Walk Tote, and this is done with some chunkier yarn. It's very plushy. And it's just a classic tote bag, and it has a classic granny square on the front and the back. So it's basically two squares that I've sandwiched together and we've created a handle. Now there are instructions to make the handle longer if you prefer the crossbody bag style more. This is a shoulder tote for right now. But it's called the Nature Walk Tote, super easy to make and really fun to experiment with colors. In fact, I've been loving to see the ones that you make as well because all of you pick such wonderful color combinations and it's fun to see them all together. The last thing I wanted to mention that a lot of you have been asking, and rightly so, is about the Summer Maker Gallery. The summer crochet along came and went over the summer, but we haven't done the Maker Gallery yet, and that's for two reasons. One is that a lot of you have asked me I'm still working on my blanket. Can you please kind of hold off on making it and share it? So I'm going to hold off a little bit longer, maybe a few more days. So if you haven't submitted photos or shared them on social media or messaged me with your photos from your summer crochet along blanket, please send them to me. I will include them in the maker gallery. So apologies for the delay, but we've held off a little bit on that because a lot of people are still making them. And it's a large blanket project, and I didn't want to put any pressure on people to kind of rush through it. So if you have any photos, even if you're halfway done or just have a few rows, we want to see it. We want to see everything and what everyone's making. So I'll be sharing that very soon as well. And I appreciate your patience with the Maker Gallery this time. Speaking of cowls, we're going to have another crochet along this coming fall. It's going to be happening later on in October. So we're going to get through September 1st and prepare for it. And then later on in October, we're going to have the fall crochet along, which is going to be really exciting. For the past couple crochet alongs, we have done blankets. So all of you we've been collectively making blankets together. For this crochet along, we're going to be making something a little bit different. It's not going to be a blanket this time. So if anybody wants to guess what it might be, not blanket, put that in the comments below. I'm going to give you a little flash of one of the colors that we'll be using. I love sharing clues as we move towards the crochet along. So I'm going to show you one of the colors that I'll be using. And this is one of the colors. So you can see it's going to be very fallish and use really beautiful colors. And of course, I'll share some other color combinations like I do for the other crochet alongs, so you can get some other inspiration and ideas for that as well. So stay tuned for the Maker Gallery, the sneak peek of this lovely project that I showed you. This is also a very fall project coming soon as well. So that's it. That's my weekly update for this week. Any comments or questions you have, please share them below. And I love how all of you kind of jump in and help each other out as well. I'll see you next week, and happy crocheting, happy knitting, happy stitching to all of you. Bye everyone.